Are you making one of these 3 simple mistakes that could be killing the intimacy in your relationship?
We'll talk about it coming up on the Derrick and Rachel Harper podcast.
You're listening to the Derrick and Rachel Harper podcast, where you get strategies on how to increase intimacy, build a meaningful connection, and increase communication. Gain clarity on your intimacy at www.derrickandrachelharper.com. Now, here's Derrick and Rachel. Hello, love learners. It's Derrick and Rachel Harper from derrickandrachelharper.com. And we have a show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about intimacy killers, right, Rachel?
Yes, we are talking about intimacy killers and people who are intimacy killers and things that they do and the things that they should avoid.
Right. So we're going to be diving deep into this. I hope you guys listen and pull something away from this tonight.
Yeah. So first things first, anytime you hear the word intimacy,
Take a shot.
Yeah. What's the take a shot, really? Yeah. Take a shot. And then no matter what time it is, whatever time you're watching it,
5 o'clock
take a
somewhere.
shot. Yes, 5 o'clock somewhere. No, but the word intimacy, anytime you hear the word intimacy, what's something that you generally think about?
I'm just going to say this here. I'm just going to say sex.
Yeah. Right. So if you're one of those people who thought the word sex, when we said the word intimacy, then you are not alone.
Right.
It's a whole heap of people
Yeah.
who always equate the word intimacy with sex.
Yeah. And you don't always have to have sex to have intimacy, right? So we want to, take a different approach to this when it's time to talk about intimacy and how it's going to work inside of your relationship.
Yeah. So as he said, intimacy doesn't always mean sex, and even vice versa. Sex doesn't always mean intimacy at all.
Yeah.
And I think that when it comes to our generation, so we're in our late 30s, a lot of our peers are not moving on to more serious relationships because they are equating sex and intimacy as being love, right? And so all of that is like entanglement. That's the new word everybody's using nowadays.
Right. Brought to you by Jada Pinkett. Thank you.
Right. So everybody's using that word. And so now here we have sex, intimacy, love. How can we move on? He still doesn't want me. She still doesn't want me. You know what I'm saying? So people take that as being the end all be all of a successful relationship. And that is not the case.
No. So we have some tips or some indications of these things that can be killers, right?
Yeah. So again, we have to make sure that when we're pursuing relationships, that we're not just saying sex and intimacy is equating to love, because that's not true. You know what I'm saying? So I can't emphasize that enough. There are different types of intimacy that you're going to realize, wow, okay, I can consider that as being intimacy, right? So for example, when we first met, we met at a recreation center, and some of the things that we did was playing basketball.
Right.
We played volleyball. We kind of hung out in the gym.
Right. Well, we were basically like camp counselors. Well, she took care of the gym section, kind of like the overseer of the gym. And I had a early morning before school program with kids. And I was asked to help run that program from the top to the bottom. It wasn't just coming in and just executing what they gave me. I had to come up with programs. So my supervisor at the time asked me to ask Rachel to help me with some of the things. And so it was a way for me to actually get a chance to talk to her, because I did think she was just so beautiful the first time I saw her. And so it was a way to get a chance to talk to her. So I was like, cool, yeah, I'll do that. Awesome. Yeah, you just saved me there, brother. Thank you. But it was a way for us to also get to know each other, talk about what we liked and what we didn't like. She was into fitness, obviously. And, I was, being an athlete. So I was into fitness as well. So, it kind of worked hand in hand. We kind of bonded over basketball and volleyball and, helping the kids.
Yeah. So for me, that sparked my interest in Derrick. right? So some people might say playing basketball, doing recreation and leisure and things like that. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was one of my interests. That is an interest of mine. And we were able to do that together and we got to know one another. So I say that to say that intimacy is not always about sex. In that instance, it was about recreation. So write that down. One of the types of intimacies that exists is recreation intimacy.
Right.
Recreational intimacy. That is a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a very real thing. And, you know, we saw it firsthand with us. Okay. And if you are the type that is not recreational, but your spouse or your significant other or your boyfriend or girlfriend is, or your partner is, then you could be killing the intimacy in your relationship. It could be you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you always have to find a way to compromise, you know, with things you like and things you don't like. We already know that, right? So this is one of the things that you have to learn how to do if you're not that type of person, like not outdoorsy, like to stay inside. You could be killing the intimacy. So think about that.
Yeah. So find ways to be a part of the things that they enjoy, you know. So one of the shows that we enjoy watching is Married at First Sight. And last season, there was actually a couple on there where the girl liked to work out and the guy didn't. And he was like, oh my gosh, I just hate working out. It's the worst thing ever. And she's like, really? But eventually you see them throughout the episode. Like he starts working out with her and he starts being a part of her world, you know, and her hobbies and the things that she enjoyed. And so that made her happy. He wasn't so happy. I mean, when you watch the episode, I mean, he's up there just struggling. But, you know, that was a bond for her, you know. So she really enjoyed that. He made sure that he took on the hobbies and her interests so that they can have that intimacy going. You know, even though that wasn't his first choice, it still was important in the relationship.
All right. So, but you know, most of the time when intimacy is a problem, it's usually the guy's, you know, sex drive or the guy's, you know, motivation is always the driving force behind, you know, the intimacy or, you know, the lack of. So usually the women are more inclined to be like, have like less libido, I guess, because libido is for men and women, right? All right.
Yeah, but I mean, are we talking about before marriage? Are we talking about after marriage? It's definitely a difference.
Yeah, I mean, after marriage.
If you're talking about after marriage, yeah.
Yeah, after marriage, you know, that becomes a thing, that becomes a problem, and so it's a reoccurring problem that, you know, we see all the time and talking to these other couples and everything. So what we have to do as men, if we want things to happen in the bedroom, we have to make little small deposits, right? And little small deposits mean a little something for her, you know, so you can get a little something for you. Okay. Because ultimately, guys, you know, we want to end it. You know, we want things to happen in the bedroom. Right. But the intimacy, like we said, starts beforehand. You have to make those little small deposits for the things that happen that you want to happen later on. Right. Yeah.
That's true. That's very true. But I would say there is a difference because we have listeners who may not be married yet. Right. And so I would say for us, that wasn't an issue in the beginning. Like before we got married, it was happening all the time. Physical intimacy. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So you didn't really have to do much in the beginning. You didn't have to do small deposits in the beginning because physical intimacy was just always happening.
Yeah. Until you settle down and then you settle into married life.
You settle into married life. And I think men, one of the things they have to do is that when it comes to physical intimacy and the changes, especially after marriage, they have to consider the woman and the things that she goes through. And if you don't consider those things, then there might be turmoil in your relationship. And some of those changes are, for example, birth control. Birth control can definitely change hormones, can mess with the libido, all those types of things. It affects the woman.
Right.
And if you're just like physical intimacy, we just got to get there. She might regret the fact that she even married you. Who knows? You know, there might be some turmoil it might get heated or whatever the fact may be. And so there's some other things. Children.
Yeah, children can be definitely a thing that really curbs the intimacy. And that's one of the things that we talk about all the time, is that you have to be intentional with your intimacy, because there are things that get in the way, like the children. You know, if you're not dealing with the children on a equal basis, because most of the time, let's face it, women take care of the children most of the time. This is in most cases, not all cases, okay? But most cases, women are the caregivers, are the nurturers, are taking care of the kids. And if she had just a little bit of help there, you know, it could help you in the long run.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's very true. Make sure you're listening to that. All right. So if you have a partner and you share children, make sure you asking for help. You have to ask for help. I mean, if we could talk about mental health, you know what I'm saying, and that whole thing. So if your mental ain't right, your physical ain't going to be right. Who's thinking about physical sex or physical intimacy when your mental health isn't really in the right space? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we could talk about that from last night.
Oh, yeah.
So I made a huge decision last night, and my mind was just like, my mind was just, nerve wracking. And I was just in a different space, and he was in a space of physical intimacy. I was in a space of needing meditation and prayer. So we were in two different places, and I was like, okay, you playing this music over here. I need some meditation music. I don't need to be hearing, bump and grind or whoever or whatever. So I say that to say, a lot of times you have to consider where your partner is and what space they're in when it comes to intimacy. It is not going to always be the same, but you have to have that understanding. You have to have that understanding.
Right. So what are some other things then?
Some other things. So there are some other types of intimacy. Financial intimacy.
And that plays a huge role in relationships, right?
It does.
One of the reasons why it does play a huge role is because you can't get to your intimacy, whether physical or anything else, if your finances aren't right. And a lot of people don't think of it that way, but finances can stop the, physical intimacy.
Yeah. So intimacy killer comes in when one person is the spender and the other person might be a saver.
Right. I think we touched on that last episode.
Yeah.
So if you didn't listen to it, go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
What you hear in the previous episode is that Derrick had a fetish for Jordan sneakers. I won't say a fetish. I'm not like, hype beast sneakerhead type dude. I mean, I do enjoy sneakers from my earlier days, the 80s and the 90s eras. And I do like the retro Jordans. And so I do buy, the ones that I liked from when I was younger that I wasn't able to get, like the Flint Gray 13s. So I wasn't able to get those. I really wanted those. I was a junior in high school. I remember they came out and I was a junior in high school, and I had a blue, like, picnic checkerboard shirt that I wanted that I wanted to wear with those Jordans, and I wasn't ever able to get them. So yeah, I did have a spending, I wouldn't say a habit, but I did buy more Jordans than you needed.
I guess than I needed, but I did need them.
You said you did need them?
Yeah, I needed those Flint Gray 13s.
But what about all the other ones?
I didn't buy a whole lot.
You bought the gold ones.
Okay, so those are the 11s. I like 11s, 12s, 13s. That's the only ones that I really, really like. Those are my favorite. 11, 12, 13.
And you was buying them back to back.
If I was buying them back to back, you wouldn't have closet space.
But I'm saying, like, at least that's how I felt. That's how I felt.
What?
See. So you got to be on the same page when it comes to financial intimacy.
Right. So
you see how that just went?
Exhibit A.
Exhibit
We're a prime example. But no, I don't buy as many pair of shoes as I used to. Like now it's more like little running shoes that I might wear to work, and sometimes that I actually go out and run in. That is what I buy now. And then I might pick up a pair of Jordans here or there, but
okay,
I only buy it when there's absolutely enough money there and it's not going to hurt anything else in the household.
Right.
I would have never did that anyway, but you know.
Well, yeah. Now, yeah. So financial intimacy, you have to be able to sit down with your significant other, your partner, whoever it is, even if it's someone that you're thinking of getting into a serious relationship with, letting them know how you spend your money. You know, do you use credit cards? Are you like, I only use cash? I'm not cool with credit cards. I got to pay all my bills on this due date. You know, you got to be open and honest, because that's definitely something that nobody thinks about talking about before you actually get married.
Right.
And I mean, unless you do like premarital counseling, they'll probably force you to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good thing to do if you are having problems, especially before you get married. But yeah, carry on.
But one of the solutions that we came up with, because we had a lot of, you know, we spoke of this last episode, we had a lot of issues and a lot of bickering and blaming each other about certain purchases and whatnot. So we actually sat down, wrote down every single one of the bills that we have, right? And we put them all on a spreadsheet. Took us about 2, 3, 4 hours to even wrap our mind and our brains around the fact that we were in the position that we were in,
right,
at that point. And it was like, oh my gosh, all this money slipped through our hands. How? And now we got all these bills. How?
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
I never see it coming. Like, I didn't think that would happen. Like, I heard that when you get more money, you get more problems. You know, more money, more problems. More money, more bills. I heard that, and I didn't believe it until I got more money, because it's like, oh, well, I can get that extra HBO package on my TV because, you know, I make a couple extra coins, so I can spend a little extra here. Oh, let me go out and, you know, get a new car, because, you know, I'm only paying $300 a month. I make an extra couple thousand, so, you know, I can spend an extra $200 on a car payment and get a little better car, something that I really enjoy. You know, so those little things, they add up, and before you know it, you know, you've added 5 or 6 little extra things that cost an extra, you know, $500-$600 a month. You know, and then you think you can handle it, and then all of a sudden, here we are. You're like, okay, how did we get here where we make X amount of dollars? We have plenty enough to make it through the month, and then all of a sudden we're down to, you know, $60 in the checking account. Like, what's going on here? Like, we had plenty enough money to make it through the whole entire month, and then have some left over for the next month, you know. But we found out for us, it was eating out. We ate out pretty much every night. We spent $400 in food
Easily.
Just eating out. And on top of that, we would buy groceries on top of that, trying to be responsible. We would spend $300 or $400 on
but
groceries.
we wouldn't eat the groceries or
Right.
eat the food that we bought.
Right. We wouldn't eat the food that we bought, and then we end up going out every day.
Yeah.
You know.
And then the food was spoiled, so you gotta get some more groceries.
Right.
Throw out the old stuff that you never even touched.
Right. So basically, we're spending $800 a month in food.
Oh my gosh.
It's like we could cut that bill by definitely half, you know, and then that can go to another bill, and then or savings or whatever have you.
Yeah. So what we do now when it comes to groceries is I go every 2 weeks when we get paid, but our grocery budget, we have an actual grocery budget of $300, which is actually not a lot. Usually in the summertime it's a little bit more, but when we're both working, we know we're not eating breakfast and lunch at home, so we know it can be decreased. So we take the $300, split it in half, $150 every 2 weeks. So we try to stay within that range whenever I go grocery shopping. And then we buy from Sam's Club, so we try to buy in bulk,
Right.
which is a lot
That helps.
easier. It helps because if we go to the local grocery store next door and spend $60, we might end up spending $60 on one meal. Whereas if you go to Sam's Club, BJ's, all those places like that, where you can buy in bulk, you can spend $60 and get a whole lot more. Especially like a pack of chicken, you can get a big old pack of chicken for $12, whereas next door you getting that same amount of chicken for a lot more, or might be getting less for the same price.
Right.
So it's all about being able to be flexible, making sure you sit down, come up with a plan, come up with an idea, come up with a goal. You got to have a common goal.
Right.
Period.
Okay, so moving on, what else we got over there on your magical notepad?
Yeah. So another big one that I think is more important than physical intimacy is definitely intellectual intimacy.
Oh, what is that?
So intellectual intimacy is being basically, I like to say, on the same wavelength, right? So you don't have to have the same IQ, but you have to have the same thoughts, or not even gonna say have, but usually you do, right? You might like the same movies, the same genre of books, the same ideals for life, right? How you're gonna raise your children, career goals, where do we see ourselves? A lot of us have that intellectual intimacy.
So we just match up. We're just on the same wavelength then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So can you imagine being with someone and forcing yourself to be with someone and you're not on the same wavelength?
Right. That can
only because the physical intimacy is good.
Right. That can kill it. They can kill it. That's definitely a killer. Kill them.
Yeah. So if you always thinking physical intimacy, man, my relationship is great because of physical intimacy, but y'all don't have nothing else in common.
Well, I mean, maybe if you were in college, a college male probably wouldn't think about that intellectual part about it. It's like, is you the dumbest she is, brother? dumb as a doorknob.
Yeah.
So I guess that would. I know there's a couple of guys out there right now saying, "What? I love it when she's dumb."
What? Oh my gosh.
No, yeah, but that can definitely kill it. Just imagine. I mean, that for women, I would imagine would be a real turnoff. Like, I can't even talk to you intellectually. I mean, yeah, you might look good to her and everything like that, but if she can't connect with you on another level. I mean, you see this in sitcoms all the time, where it's like, oh, everything is good, but I just can't have a conversation with him. And then, usually the girlfriend says, well, who cares about talking when you're doing, X, Y, or Z? And so, that could be, but that could be a definite turn off. And, a woman would probably turn off. I should let Rachel talk about that more than, me talking about that part. So how is that? Is that right? Am I on a... Yeah,
that's exactly right. Like you said, who wants to be with somebody when you can't even talk about the same exact things at all? And that goes even with friendships. A lot of people have friends, right? Because you have things in common, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to hang out with someone where you don't have anything in common. You hate everything about whatever it is that they like, and they hate everything that you like, and they just there's a clash. No one wants to be in a friendship or in any type of ship. Doesn't matter. Right?
Cruise ship. I would be in a cruise ship, but no. But let me play devil's advocate for a second here, right? So what about those women that, like, they get hypnotized by the sex, right?
Okay.
And, they can't speak to the guy, and it's like, because, like, you're not on that same level, but they just cannot get over the guy because of that physical relationship that they have with him, right? So how do we explain that?
So you're saying if a woman is with a man,
right,
and she knows she shouldn't be with him,
yeah, but
but she stays with him because the physical intimacy is good,
right?
How do you get over that? So I would say,
because I know there's a lot of women out there that's been there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there. But it's so good.
Yeah.
But I don't want nobody else to have them because this one thing is so good. I don't know. You got to just let it go, or just be open about the fact that you just want it to be a booty call. I don't,
Yeah.
don't lead them on. Stop cooking for them.
Mm-hmm.
Stop doing all the stuff like y'all in a relationship, and just let it be a platonic, physically intimate
do that
relationship.
though? Can women do that though? Can they just be in a relationship to be platonic and just,
yes,
no strings attached?
Yes. I think the older you get, the more you can do that. Yes, the easier it gets.
I don't know. It's a lot of feelings be getting caught.
What? No, let me tell you something.
Like Jerry Rice.
Men out here, men got more feelings than women, period. And they act all macho and act like they don't care and all that stuff. But when it boils down to it, they the ones who get their feelings hurt the most. True story. True story.
I'm not too sure about that.
Yes. They're the ones who get hurt. So especially think about cheating, right?
Uh-huh.
If a woman cheats on a man,
that's devastating.
That man is devastating. When a man cheats on a woman, it's kind of like, okay, let me go to my backup. I got a backup plan. Let me go to my backup plan and
I think it's devastating still too. I think it's devastating still too.
I'm just saying, like, I ain't saying like marriage. Like if someone's married and gets cheated on, that's devastating.
I would think.
But if you just like randomly just physical intimacy and that's it, I don't care about you, blah, whatever. It's just
I think it would be more. I think for the guy, it would be more like, it'd be devastating. Yes. Like I said, it's devastating because, once we got something and we call it ours, we don't want nobody else to have it. And so if somebody else have it, it's like, like you strip my manhood almost. Like you be crying and punching the air. But then, a guy be like, well, I'm going to just go ahead and move on then. I mean, I still like her, but still, she let me go. So, I'm ready to be with a bunch of women.
Oh my gosh. That's that ego that be talking.
No.
Like the dude on the show said, I'm about to go get up with an IG model. Like, okay, who cares?
She's talking about married at first sight.
Yeah, married at first sight. Like, who gives a crap that you about to go do anything? You're lying, first of all.
So you gotta give him the backstory a little bit. So the guy was just like, he was with his wife or his supposed to be wife from the show, and she actually just didn't come in. Did she come in?
She was there.
And she left though.
But they were supposed to get a divorce. He will not sign the papers.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so this is how you know men are more hurt. She moved on and she's like, dude, sign the papers. I just need you to fill out the paperwork so we can finally get our divorce. And he's really not saying that, right? So she's like, you know what? Forget this. I'm leaving. So she leaves the stage. Mm-hmm. And so he's still sitting there, and the commentator guy trying to ask him questions like, okay, so, well, are you going to sign the papers? Because she, whatever. He's like, well, if she left, I'm leaving too. Yeah. And he gives us, I'm going to go give him some IG models. Like, boy, you hurt. You're real hurt. You won't sign the papers. And now you got to talk about you. Stop.
It's like, yeah, I'm just going to, like, I'm about to get up with an IG model.
Right now.
First of all, you sound whack because you're talking about you getting ready to get with an IG model. Like, IG model, what is she? I'm confused there. I'm confused as how that's cool, an IG model. Like, who you model for? Instagram. Like, get out of here.
He said it. What he said has nothing to do with Rachel Harper. Nothing to do with me.
Okay. You're going to try to denounce me now? Okay.
You said it, not me. Yeah, so, I mean, that's devil's advocate. Always remember, men, their feelings are always hurt worse than women. That's the lesson we just learned.
I doubt it, because I've seen some women be really distraught over some guy, and he really do not care, and just doing whatever he want to do to her, and still can get back in.
Oh Lord, yes. It was something. Some people are different. That's for a whole nother episode we gonna have. When things get like that, that's another episode. Yeah, but the last type of intimacy that we're gonna talk about that is important, if not the most important, is unconditional intimacy.
Mm.
What do you think about when I say unconditional intimacy?
First of all, you got to break down the word unconditional. First, you got That means I'm no unconditional. Unconditional love. No matter what happens, no matter what's going on, no matter what you do, I'm still gonna love you. Now, what I think you can have unconditional love and have unconditional intimacy for someone, but not be in love with them.
Say that again.
I think you can have unconditional love for someone.
Okay.
Have unconditional intimacy for someone, but not be in love with them.
Okay.
Because you can be hurt by a person, let's say the cheating. Like you can be with someone and you cheat and they cheat on you and it hurts and they do it again and they do it again. So you're at the point now where I love you. I can't stop loving you. I have this unconditional love for you. Like I could be intimate with you. I can be intimate with you, but I can't be, in love with you, or I can't be with you.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. Trying to wrap my head around that one. So you're saying, say it one more time.
So
you can have
I can have that unconditional love for you,
but still not be in love with them.
but still not be in love with you.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I think about my parents. They got a divorce, right? And they're like the best of friends now.
Right.
So they have unconditional love for one another, but they're definitely not in love with one another. They're definitely not in love with each other.
Well.
Yes, so that makes sense.
Okay. But back to the unconditional love. What do you think? Unconditional intimacy.
Well, unconditional intimacy is the fact that you don't put conditions on things in the marriage or in your relationship. Right? So you don't say, well, I only love you if this happens. I only love you when you do this for me. Or I only love you when you look like this, or when you weigh that much, or if you don't wear that, so it's always going to be unconditional, no conditions, no matter what. I'm going to love you, whatever the case may be. Now, there are some conditions, I will say, like nobody wants to get abused in a relationship, so there are some boundaries that comes with unconditional love.
Okay.
Right? Now, you don't just go out there just accepting everything because, I need to have unconditional intimacy in my relationship. That's true. However, you don't just accept anything.
Okay. So the unconditional love is circumstantial.
Yeah, it's as bad as that sounds.
Yeah, that does kind of sound bad. Yeah, my unconditional love for you is circumstantial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's I can love you when your hair turns gray, girl.
Right. Right.
I can love you if you gain a little weight too, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
Are you saying something? You laughing real hard over there.
Yeah, that one just went way over your head. No, but yeah. So the conditions are just like if you gain a lot of weight, I can still love you, unconditional, right? Yeah, and if you look, because one of these days, you're not gonna have these stunning, great looks that you have now. So I can love you even when your looks fade and all that because I'm in love with the person.
Oh,
right.
Happy early Valentine's Day. Yes, that is very true. And people need to know that people change in a relationship. Period. Especially after marriage. Right? Like he tried to low blow. I've gained a few pounds.
What? I didn't even notice.
With a straight face.
I didn't notice. What? I didn't notice.
Stop saying it.
What?
Yes, I gained a few Really?
What?
So I've gained a few pounds, and he's lost some weight. Right now, I met you. You was how much?
I don't know.
What was your weight? 250.
I don't know. Probably somewhere around there.
Oh, you don't know? I kind of remember it being around 2. Yeah. So I mean, and now he's lost weight because guess what? We love recreational intimacy, right? And we know all about fitness plans.
Yeah.
Right.
And all that, and eating right.
Eating right. We know about nutrition.
Calculating macros and all that stuff.
Yes.
Now, improving your recreational intimacy and improving upon your body can also raise those, intimacy. You can raise your intimacy.
Physical intimacy.
You can level up on your intimacy, I would say, because everybody likes eye candy. And the reason why I did not notice that you gained a little weight because it went to all the right places.
Oh my gosh.
So then, that's why I didn't mind the weight.
Okay. Yeah. So
that I didn't see.
Yeah. Yeah. So things change. I will say I think we need to get some tips to the married people or people who are thinking about getting married, and just letting them know that things change after you get married.
They do. You have to roll with the punches and make adjustments and, continue to learn each other. It's always a work in progress. Always a work in progress. It's never just like, we got it, that's it. Like, it's always a constant work.
There's always something new, whether it's a new look, a new attitude, a new baby, a new house, a new bill, a new degree. I could go on and on. A new hair. It's always going to be something new that you're always going to have unconditional love for, right? Or unconditional intimacy for. And it's always going to make you have to reimagine the relationship in order to keep it moving, because you don't want to stay stagnant while your partner is moving forward.
Right.
That's what you don't want to happen. You don't want to be the old you while the other person is moving on. Similar to, I like watching Housewives.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And so on Housewives of the one with their Virginia, Potomac, right? So Miss Huger, as they call her, she's now, she's launching herself. She's now a brand, basically. And her husband is now like, he's retired for the 3rd time. So in the episode, he said, before, she was my wife, right? Before, she was Mr. Huger's wife.
Right.
But now he's Mrs. Huger's husband. So times have changed, and he's trying to get used to it. So now they're in therapy, and the whole thing is just, they're kind of growing apart because she's continuing to grow and reinvent herself. And he's just kind of like, okay, I'm retired, done, whatever the case may be. So I say that to say things change. However, you got to have unconditional love, unconditional intimacy. And you got to make sure that you are continuing to learn each other and be in the same space, be in the same headspace, intellectually, physically, all of that stuff. It doesn't have to be the exact same passion for all of those things. However, Derrick likes physical intimacy. I like recreational intimacy. So somewhere we got to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
So take me on a walk.
But I like recreational
I'm not a dog.
as
Don't
well.
take me on a walk. But
I like recreational intimacy as well, though. Because, I was an athlete, and, I like running, and I like being outside, and I like doing things outside. So we match, and we mesh well there, too. But I will say, if you want to gain more clarity on your intimacy, we're giving a free course, all right?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's a free course. You can go to DerrickandRachelHarper.com, and you can get it in the shop portion, right?
Yes. Got to go to the shop, go to the store, click on the store. You have to go and order the
course, right?
course. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a free course.
It's free,
there.
even though I said order. It's free.
Yeah. So you kind of have to place an order through the website, but it's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. Helps you gain clarity on the things that you may lack, which are killing your intimacy in your relationship. Gives you great insight on that. And when you come out of it, you'll have greater clarity on it. And then you'll be able to move in a direction in which you can, stop killing your intimacy and level up. Okay. But it's a good course. Like I said, it's on the website and it'll definitely be a benefit to you. Again, it's free. We like to give out information for free. We want you guys to grow in this. And so we want you guys to be like Derrick and Rachel Harper. They know what they're talking about. Got in this course, gained clarity, and was able to go to the next step. So definitely go check that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And always we want to hear from you, after you take the free course, come back and let us know, what you learned. Let us know how you're going to implement this in your relationships. Just hit us up on our IG, our Instagram, Derrick and Rachel Harper, and let us know how it went.
Right. And after you get out of that free course, there's some other courses that you can take. There are paid courses. Okay. Now, we do have to make a little bit of coin because we can still bring great content to you and be able to do this and hopefully be able to do it on a lot more of a full-time basis and bring awesome things to you. So we definitely love and need your support on those. There are a lot of other little courses there. Yeah, little trinket courses there for intimacy and sparking your intimacy, and then getting a flame in your intimacy, and then our biggest and most best course that you'll ever take for intimacy is called the Ignite Intimacy Academy. We are taking signups for that now. It's going to be a huge thing.
Join the wait list.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge thing. It's like jam packed full of videos,
self-reflection.
Yeah, we're doing live Q&As for you guys, getting email tips, lots of videos. It's going to be a thorough step-by-step walk you through that. And we would like to extend the invitation to you guys to get into that course and get on the waiting list. I think you need to get on the waiting list because this thing is going to be totally awesome. If you go to DerrickandRachelHarper.com and work with us, you'll find that down there, the Ignite Intimacy Academy. Pretty soon you should be able to go to IgniteIntimacyAcademy.com. But if you get on that wait list, we'll definitely let you know what's going on with that, and we'll send you emails on the very first cohort. Now, we call it a cohort because it's not just one of those courses where you're just going to get a bunch of information, a bunch of stuff, and we're going to send you on your way and you do it by yourself. No, we're going to be with you every step of the way, week by week, helping you out, giving you those calls. I want to say coaching calls. They're not coaching calls. They're question and answer sessions where you actually get to ask the person who made the course questions, and we're going to actually answer them and not just give you, a generic answer from a publicist that we hired. No, it's actually us. We're going to walk you through it. So go now to DerrickandRachelHarper.com, go to work with me, and then get on the wait list for the Ignite Intimacy Academy.
Yes. Whew.
Yeah, what I said.
Yes. What he said. Yes.
So that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Again, you can always reach us at Derrick and Rachel Harper on Instagram. And you can always email us at info@DerrickandRachelHarper.com. And definitely visit DerrickandRachelHarper.com. Go to work with me and sign up for the Ignite Intimacy Academy course, and we will talk to you on next Friday.
Oh, can we do something real quick?
Oh, what's that?
Can we shout out our alma mater?
Oh yeah, let me shout out.
Norfolk State University.
Norfolk State University.
What's up, y'all? Any HBCU people out there? Y'all know what's up.
Yeah, you probably noticed me wearing Norfolk State shirts all the time. I even have a Norfolk State shirt that I made. It's red. And I'm like, wait a minute, we don't wear red. We wear green and gold. But hey, I didn't care. I just wanted to have something that said Norfolk State. But yeah, shout out to the green and gold Spartans of Norfolk State and Norfolk, Virginia. And we missed homecoming this year.
Yes.
But, you know,
homecoming.
Hopefully they got this football season going on in the spring. We can get down there and see a game or something.
Yes. HBCUs, stand up. Till next time.